Welcome to the Soul Tribe Podcast. The Soul Tribe Podcast was created to help you navigate through the world of spirituality, wellness, and self-development in an easy, grounded, and relatable way. We break down everything from the Akashic Records, manifesting, spirituality, and so much more. We want to help expand your boundaries and bring the spiritual world to you in a fun and easy way. Get ready to be inspired with tips, tools, and easy to digest information. Let's do this.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Soul Tribe Podcast.
Welcome.
I'm actually very excited about today's episode.
This is all you, Lou.
Ooh. Today's episode's about ghosts.
This would have been a good episode for Halloween, right?
Yeah, I don't remember what we did around Halloween time, actually.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just a normal episode, but this would have been a good episode for that time.
Well then. Too late now. Well, okay. No, this came to my attention to talk about because I've tried watching those ghost investigation shows. What do they call them? Like hunting investigators? I don't know what they call them. I actually don't know. Anyways, there's a bunch of shows. Like where teams of people go to places that are supposedly said to be haunted and they try to collect evidence, right? And things like that. But I've never really liked any of the shows, mainly because of the way that they're recorded. I think they're kind of annoying. So it's like they'll repeat a lot. Like they'll end in something and be like, ooh, suspense, you don't know what ends up happening. And you come back and they make you watch it all over again. Like the last minutes before they left on commercial, right? They'll make you watch it all over again. And it's just like, come on, just get to the point, get to the lessons.
Yeah, it's so suspenseful, it just gets annoying.
Super annoying. And I feel like I don't enjoy it. And there's nothing to learn really more than some awkward dudes walking around a dark building, getting excited or freaking out.
I remember you watching those so much when we were in Uruguay, years ago.
I mean, that's always something I was always so into watching. If I'm gonna sit down in front of the TV, I might as well try to learn something.
Oh yeah, true, for sure.
But I don't know. I find it very fascinating if they gather evidence and they prove something that they didn't know. That's the part that I'm like, wow, that's amazing. Mm-hmm. I love that. But I've recently found a show that I actually like watching. It's called Kindred Spirits.
Is it on Gaia?
No, it's not on Gaia. I don't even know what channel it would be on. Because I have the app Discovery Plus. Okay, so you have HGTV. I love it because you have all those house hunter shows and things like that, right? You also have 90 Day Fiancé, which I like.
Your favorite?
No, that's Joe's favorite. I like to watch what I call stupid TV, which is I've had a week of a lot of readings. I've done my good deed for the weeks, right? I've done the podcast episode and maybe something profound about my week and my day or whatever. And then maybe Saturday I don't have to do anything and Aurora's finally sleeping and you want to put on something that maybe you don't think for a while because during the week I'm usually watching Gaia in the background or whatever, right? So I call it my stupid TV where I can actually just unwind from the week of spiritual stuff and politics, right? And things like that. But this show, I really liked it, and I'm going to explain why. Because I think it's important to understand a few things, at least the way I see it. People can have their different perspectives. But the first thing is, so the two individuals that are in the show that are doing the investigation together, one of them, her name is called Amy, and the other guy, his name is Adam. And I think that they both got into it because they had their own paranormal situations or their own paranormal experiences. They don't really, at least I don't find out about it watching the show. You don't really know. You just know they both had something. And what I like is that they're more respectful towards their investigations than the other individuals that go and kind of try to get spirits angry to react, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know if the shows that you used to watch were about that, but I do remember it was like them hunting for these ghosts, or I don't know what the heck it was. It was just... See, this is where I get a little confused with ghosts and spirits, because we've done a whole episode on that, but I mean, personally, with the language, the communication of it, I get it a little bit confused.
Well, what I remember from the Akashic Records, because I still get confused too, but what I remember from the Akashic Records of that episode we did was a ghost seems to be the individual. It's about, I like to see it the way that I like to see it to understand it better because I'm visual. It's like we have, you know, when you like meditate, you have an astral body. And that's the one that travels around. So to me, it almost looks like when you pass over, aka you die, it's almost like you're living in the astral body. That's the one that's not able to move on. The astral body is the one that's still around. So that to me is a ghost. I think some people will call that spirit. I mean,
some people do call that a spirit.
Yeah, so some people call that a spirit. For me, the way I remember the Akashic Records describing spirit is the program that was kind of given to the individual or the entity. Well, not the entity. The program that the individual was given, it's like your personality. It's like a downloadable program. And the spirit is something I actually want to talk about. The spirit seems to be not the entity, like... It wouldn't be your astral body. It's not so... I guess I would say it's not so intelligent or not so movable, not so... I don't know, like free-willed, I guess. I don't know what words to use to describe it. But for me, the spirit is like... Let's say an old lady lived in a house her entire life, and when she passed over peacefully, so her astral body was able to move on. But it's almost like somehow the program of her spirit lingers around because of the amount of living and maybe good and bad experiences that the individual had in that house. So to me, she probably moved on. That's a good thing. It's just that her spirit's still lingering around. So I think that spirit, in the case of the way they're using the Akashic Records, that word, I think the spirit is the residual energy. Almost.
That's what I feel, yeah.
But residual energy to me also can mean something else, because residual energy can repeat a traumatic event that happened. And it's one of those things like, you know, people say, this place is haunted, and every day at 3 a.m, you hear steps going down the stairs, right? For example, that would be residual energy. It might have been that individual was killed and came down the stairs right before the moment where they were killed on the bottom of the stairs, for example. And so that's a repeating pattern every day. It's like the soul relives it. It's like that. And actually, the soul's not really.
So that would be. So what would that be?
That's residual energy. I don't think the soul's reliving it.
But I mean, would that be a ghost or a spirit? Do you know what I mean? What would that be?
That to me would be residual energy. Spirit would be that like the character traits of the person is left in the house. To me. I don't think that other people really define all those things. I think people usually say it's residual energy or it's a ghost. It's a haunting or it's residual energy. I don't think that anybody talks about spirit, so this show doesn't talk about spirit in that way either. Or they do talk about like, I think they use the word entity. I don't remember now. But to me, a lot of the times they had a few shows where it's like someone was still in the house because they really loved the house and it was their everything when they were there. That to me would be spirit. There's spirits there, but I feel like they moved on.
That makes sense.
I feel like they possibly moved on. Some of the cases, maybe not.
A ghost would be when they haven't actually exited completely, like their astral body is still there.
They haven't been able to move on,
so they still interact.
Yeah, they're intelligent. So it's like a ghost is intelligent. It can interact, can understand. And a good way for me to explain this better is something, this made me go, oh, we need to talk about this on the podcast. This is fascinating. I never thought about this. It was a huge aha for me. So I'm very excited about this. Sorry. So there's an episode where these people, I think it's season 1, in case anybody finds it and wants to watch it. I think it's in season 1. I don't remember the name of the episode, but the episode was basically, they were investigating a house that seemed to have, of course, things going on. And they were trying to communicate with someone specifically. They didn't end up finding that person that the family was looking for. Because what you usually find is that the families think it's like, oh, I think it's my grandfather. I think it's my mom. And what these people in the show say, which seems to be true from the episodes where you see them investigate, people always think it's a loved one. And they rarely find that it's a loved one because a loved one would never scare you.
Of course, yeah.
So it's usually something else. And so in this case, it seemed to be the previous owner of the home, who had been a man from Poland who had immigrated to the United States. And so when they somehow figured out it was him, they went to the attic because apparently his energy was in the attic. And so they were trying, he was making noises. They were hearing him. So he was somehow interacting with them from an audible place. But when they asked questions, they have like an EMF thing where they record. They ask questions, they record, and they can listen back to it and hear what the ghost is saying to them, what the person is saying to them, right? And so they couldn't get him to respond, but he was responding with noises around the attic. So they're like, "What's going on here? This is weird." And they end up finding out that the individual who they're trying to contact doesn't speak English. He only spoke Polish. Oh. This is fascinating to me. So what they did was, I love these two people, Adam and Amy, what they did was they went and they got a Polish translator. And they brought her on the investigation with them. And what they did was they grabbed the EMF again. They asked questions. The translator would say the questions in Polish that they were asking. And the dude responded in Polish to the questions.
That is nuts.
Okay? What? And I went, holy mother F. We need to talk about this on the podcast. I never even thought about thinking about this. That, for me, is a total confirmation that what's left behind is, in fact, not the soul, but the astral body of the person. Because your soul would understand every single language. Right?
Of course.
But what's left behind is the conscious level of the individual who had been living, aka the ghost of that person is still there and they can't move on. And the person who spoke Polish, didn't speak English, continues to only understand Polish and doesn't all of a sudden magically understand English. And this leads me to my next amazing aha moment point where I was like, oh, I think I had talked about it on the Patreon. I did an episode of the Patreon about your different bodies, or was it here? I don't know. Maybe it was here, actually. I talked about it, like the different bodies you have. No, I think it was on the Patreon, actually. Maybe on the Patreon. Where I talked about, like, you have different bodies, and when you die, what the Akashic Records were trying to make me understand was, when you die, you don't go, boom, I'm dead. I remember every life I've ever had. My soul's ever had, actually. Boom, I remember all the lives my soul's ever had, and I know I have all the universal information back with me. That actually doesn't happen. What the Akashic Records were trying to explain was you have this process where you have to start dropping your bodies, releasing trauma, releasing things that might have been negative from that life that you're just leaving. And your soul's slowly integrating with itself and dropping other bodies and slowly integrating with the rest of itself. So you're not full-blown. It's not like you die and boom, I'm Lucia's soul and I remember everything. No. Yeah. And so that for me was a confirmation of that message from the Akashic Records that guy passed over, obviously didn't leave for whatever reason he didn't leave, and continued to have the same thought processes, belief systems, and language that his physical body was carrying. So I think that he takes an astral body form, and our astral body form is actually a projection of our body. So physically they would look the same if we were to be able to see them. It's like it almost looks like our body. It's just a lighter version of it, right? It can go through walls and things, right? So it's a lighter version of it, but it still has the conscious level, the same level of conscious as if you were still you.
You can interact, you can move, you can respond.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
It's intelligent. They're intelligent. The ghost is intelligent still. It doesn't have the human brain, yet can still have the same level of capacity. So that makes you think, what does the brain really do, right?
Yeah.
Because that guy's able
That
to
does make you
understand questions, respond back, and he didn't know what these people were saying. I don't speak your language. Let me make noises so you guys don't go away because I have something to say. He was able to think past it.
Maybe there's a part of, like, because you're saying there's like residual stuff and on like when we're talking about spirits. So maybe that's part, maybe if you're a ghost, you have that residual stuff. Like you remember things, but at the same time, it's your astral body that remembers, you know, the house, the people, how to interact. There's like, maybe that's why I think like if you're a ghost, there's also part of that being a spirit in that too. Like if you're a ghost, your spirit's
still there. Yeah, no.
Your
spirit, to me, the way I visually see it, if you're in ghost form, you still have your spirit present with you. The program's still there. You still have the personality. So to us, the language that we're using, because maybe someone else uses the word spirit for something else. For us, when we use the word spirit, in this case, what we're saying is that person continues to have, he might get angry like he used to, right? He might be somebody that's a super jolly guy, maybe. Well, he's going to continue to probably be that super jolly guy, even though he's dead. He's just doing it from his astral body. So, for me, the spirit is the last level that's left over. That's why I was saying sometimes I believe that maybe spirit is left, but the person's passed on. Their astral body passed on. So I think there's different levels of being able to stay here.
I think so too. I totally believe that. That's why for me, it's hard to put like a label to it. It's like, it's more an energetic, like how energetically tied to Earth and this incarnation are they still? Like, are they still kind of here? Are they really here? Are they a little bit here?
Yeah. Yeah. It's fast. I find it fascinating. I never thought to think about the language thing. That's why I was like, what? Why didn't I think about this sooner? I was so excited.
That's so cool.
I was so excited about it. I mean, that was season 1 or 2. I think that was season 1 actually, but season 3, I've only just got into season 3, and the first episodes are more about satanic, more evil, more energy. So I'm not enjoying it as much. The other seasons, I don't know if it's going to change. I don't know if it's just the coincidence that the first 2 are like that, but I really liked the work that they were doing before that, where it's like, it's energies, it's individuals that were not able to pass over or not ready to pass over, and they were just investigating that and helping the people at the home understand what it is, so they weren't scared anymore. I liked the way that they were respectful to souls. There's an episode where they investigated a home, and that individual that owned the home, it's crazy. This episode's crazy because it's an episode in New York, in Corning, New York, and the previous owner of the home was the guy who invented the electrocution chair. What's it called? I forgot the word now.
Oh, the
for executioning.
For like the
and he was the one that
did
did the first, like, he pulled the plug on the first person to die by execution. That was the guy, like the guy that was on the show trying to get his house sorted out, I guess you could say. He was living in the home of the guy who did that, who invented that. And so of course they suspected it was him. I mean, what do you suspect, right? He was left still here. But the interesting thing about it was that it didn't end up being him. And the interesting thing was that originally he called in someone else that was his friend to investigate the home. And they watched back the videos, and the people were being very aggressive to the souls. Like, I don't know. I don't remember the words they used, but like, just talk to us. What, you gotta talk to us? Or, hey, what, do you have something to say? Is anybody bothering you? Like, very aggressive, like asking questions aggressively, being mean. And when they came in, and then the house escalated in activity, and they were just totally disrespected. It ended up being homeowners that like actually loved the place and they were kind. And imagine it was these, I don't remember the characters. Well, I say characters like it was a show. I don't remember the individuals, but it was someone that wasn't really mean. it was a lady, for example, that wasn't really mean. And she was just living there because it was a home that she loved, it was meant everything to her at some point. So she was the most recent owner, I think, if I'm not mistaken. No, it had to be that guy. Maybe before him. I don't know. I don't even know when the electrocutor was invented. I don't remember now who came first and who came after. It doesn't matter. But she loved the house. And so they were like, yeah, they talked to her. She's a sweet old lady and she was talked to that way. They still have feelings. They still feel attacked as well. They still feel unsafe as well. And that to me also was a confirmation of like, wow, you know, our astral body can also feel and have emotions and things like that, right? And feel disrespected. Course, yeah.
Do you think that we can, like, by emotionally connecting with them, we're giving them more power? Or, like, what do these people do? They're pushing them to actually, like, leave?
No, they don't do that, which I found really odd because a lot of individuals will usually actively, once they figure out who it is, like, hey, I don't know, go to the light or whatever they do, right? Yeah. No, in this case, they say that they're respectful, that the individual will move on when they're ready or want to move on. But they have said in the show that they have found that once the person has been heard, so they investigate, they get the answers, they find out who it is and what's their story. They've found that they sit down with the owners of the home and tell the story, and it's almost like a chapter closed for those souls, and they're able to move on. So they just needed to be
that makes sense.
Heard.
They needed closure.
Or closure.
Yeah, they needed closure. They needed to let something out or talk about something. And it's like us as humans, we're incarnated and sometimes we need to say something or do something to find closure in a situation. And then we can fully let it go, you know? Maybe it's the same thing in that kind of spiritual realm with those things.
I think that, yeah. I mean, of course, imagine having a fight with someone and then maybe you had an accident and you never got to say proper last words. That would be something that somebody could stay left behind. Course, imagine if you and I had a fight and I said, I can't stand you, Lorena, get out of my face. And then I leave and I'm on my bike and I get run over and then I'm like, ooh, I kind of don't want those to be the last words Lorena hears from me. Let me go to her house in Cayman Islands.
Or maybe those emotions of, I feel the guilt, I feel the shame, they feel
that.
I feel bad, right? Yeah. And then that keeps you grounded here, keeps you kind of attached here and doesn't let you move on, or you don't want to move on. There's like this will, the free will of the soul is like, I don't want to leave. I have things that I need to close off. Like I can't leave my relationships like this. Yeah. I wonder what that like Polish guy was doing at that house. Like that makes me wonder.
So supposedly that was the house that he loved. He immigrated and he worked there. He never had to learn English because he worked at a company where everybody who worked there also spoke Polish, and then his family spoke Polish. And yeah, I guess he's probably in a Polish community, probably supermarket as well. So he probably never had to learn it, and that's where that issue came with the language. But it seems like he immigrated, and his house was his pride and his precious thing. I guess it was. Imagine for an immigrant being able to buy a home in another land. That's a big deal, especially back then.
It's a big deal. Maybe just feeling also very at home there, and his soul or his spirit needing to just not want to let go of that.
It probably didn't want to let go of the home. The home. I think that's a good thing to learn, actually, because people always say, your material don't go with you. So if you can't detach from it, then you're going to stay attached to it, right?
Yeah.
So that's another lesson to take. Right.
Yeah, it's a huge lesson that we have here is souls that are incarnated, detachment. Because everything since the moment we're born is telling us about buying things and having things. And even when we talk about our partners, he's my boyfriend or my husband or my daughter, right? Yeah. Like you don't own anybody, but it's all about what's mine, right?
Yeah.
So I find that interesting, yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy because it really made me think about the experiences that souls actually have. Well, not souls. The experiences that some individuals, because not all souls have it, that some individuals might have if they're not able to move on. So for me, it could be an attachment to something material. It could be because like we said, closure. Maybe the individual didn't get closure. Maybe those words that wanted to be said before. It could also be trauma. Maybe they died in a really traumatic way.
Yeah.
That
totally.
That could be as well. You see a lot of like cases where, not in the show in particular, but in general, you see a lot of cases of individuals who are killed by someone, and the spot where they were killed, it's like they're stuck in that area.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember it was Christos talking about he was going to like a store, and there was like this one, and he's like, you don't belong here, go home.
Yeah, he died. I remember Christos said that. He died, he was jogging. Right?
Yeah, or something like that, yeah. Yeah, I think so. Really interesting.
Oh, no, it was two stories.
He
talked about ones with Toys R Us, or...
Yeah, the Toys R Us one I'm talking about. Yeah, the store.
Yes. I think that ghost was waiting for his wife. Was
I don't know.
Waiting for his wife?
I think it was a guy, but he was waiting for something, and he thought he was where he had died. He's like, no, this is a store now. What are you doing?
Yeah, because they see it.
Go.
They see it the way it was.
Yeah,
they don't see the
there.
Toys R Us. Probably, I'm guessing. They see it the way it was. It's crazy, but not all of them just see it the way it was, because, for example, one of those episodes, the individual was being bothered because the house wasn't too neat, and he was a very neat guy when he lived in that house, and he was owner.
Oh wow!
Not the Polish guy, but another one. So yeah. It's like, that goes to show you not all of them only see the way it was. Some of them can see it the way it is now.
I think it's so varied. It's probably like an array of things, and why
you're here.
We're probably gonna have to and like, even if we think of our uniqueness here, like we're all here for a different reason, then it'd be difficult to put everybody into a general kind of but ghost situation.
That ghost that Christos talked about, if you think about it, Christos had said something like he was waiting for somebody, so of course he wouldn't let time pass. If time passes, then that time passed, the person never came, and you're still there. I guess that's why, maybe?
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Isn't it super fascinating? It's really...
That's a very cool story.
Yeah.
I'll link the show name and stuff if I can find it. You said it's on Discovery?
Well, no, I have it on... It's like having Netflix. It's like I have it online. So it's called Discovery. Well, it's not a channel. It's an app. It's like Discovery. It's like Discovery a Disney, Plus. Right? It's called Discovery Plus.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll find it. What's the name of the show again?
Kindred Spirits.
I like the name.
Yeah.
Kindred Spirits. Cool. I'll link that below for people to find it. I'm sure I can find it online.
Yeah. I mean so most people have TV. It's probably on like...
Some people probably have that on their TV because they have cable.
Maybe it's on TLC or something like that. I don't know, actually, what channel it would be on. I'm not sure.
Yeah, if I just find the show, it'll be easier for people to
Discovery Plus has a bunch of different channels. So I don't know. It even has sports and stuff, so I don't know. But I don't know, like for me it was like, dude, I didn't think about the language thing, of course.
That's really fascinating. Very interesting that they came to that conclusion.
So if I'm here in Holland and a ghost is like, knock, 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 I'm like, sorry, don't speak Dutch.
Maybe that's your way around it. Don't bother me.
Don't bother me. I don't speak your language anymore. Or at all, ever. I've never been able to learn it properly, so sorry.
You know some words, though.
Yeah, I know some words, but they would have to talk to me like they were like a 3-year-old kid. And I'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Do you want to say anything else before we close off this episode?
No. I guess maybe if there's somebody listening that has issues with ghosts. Well, actually, yes. Another aha I had was, we've talked about episodes where I've had issues with being, overstepped while I'm sleeping, and me having to me cursing and be like, no, I'm not letting you. So I think that there's 2 levels. Like, in that case, they'd already overstepped their boundaries in that case. And also, I don't think mine was a ghost. It was something else. But anyways.
Yes.
Like, when you're not being respected, I think that is when you have to show your hand and be like, no, I'm not going to be a pushover. You cannot treat me this way. This is my personal space. You cannot touch me. And then I think you can kick them out if it's your house, right?
Yeah.
But if it's an individual, I call him individual because it's still kind of alive, right? If it's an individual who's maybe living in the house with you and they're not really bothering you, maybe it's a spirit that's still there, and I guess that's okay as long as it doesn't bother you too much. I think it's okay. And if it's a ghost that's intelligent and being active with you, maybe it has a story to tell. Maybe try to listen so that you can, like these people believe, maybe just by listening you can help understand. Maybe get the history of the house, figure out if there's any, like they do, any accidents nearby, find out who owned the house before, or the land, try to figure out the story so maybe they feel heard and maybe they can move on like they do, or just contact them.
They might be able to help you. You'd be on a show. It'd be great.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So I just want to say that because, I did see that there was a one of those episodes where they were being very disrespectful from the get-go, right? Mm-hmm. And the souls were,
That's not going to get you anywhere, even just in this human world, right?
No, imagine. No.
Yeah, no, doesn't work that way in the spiritual realm either. What intention are you going into it with, right?
And now we understand, at least from our conversation, that they have feelings too.
Of course, yeah.
So just trying to understand that. I hope I didn't ruin that episode for anybody. Sorry.
No, I hope not. If you're going to watch it,
I mean, it's season 1.
I'm sure it'll be interesting and fascinating.
Yeah. If someone already watched it, they already know the show. They've already watched season 1. And if you haven't, well, then when you watch it, you'll remember me.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
Yeah. So that's awesome. It. That's how I wanted to end, and the respect part, but also remembered that you also have to be respected. So know the situation.
Know both sides of it. Yeah. Both sides. I think that's important to state here.
You don't have any ghost stories, do you? I have one from the apartment we used to live in Montevideo. Yeah, I was living alone when it was happening, and I remember the TV would turn off and on. Off and on.
Yeah,
not just...
It happened when I was there, too.
I remember that. I hated it. And I remember it got to a point at it got to a point that got so bad, Loretta, I would be in the middle of watching TV, it would turn off on me. And so one day when I was like so done with it, I remember I was sitting on the couch. I was alone with the cat, Felipe, my cat at the time. I was alone with Felipe, and I was watching TV, and it turns off. I said, fine, I won't watch TV then. All right, I'm tired anyways, I'll take a nap. So I was talking to it at that point. I was just frustrated with it. So I laid down and went to go to sleep, and I had finally fallen asleep, and boom, the TV turns on. The volume goes all the way to the max. I said, I'm done with you. Come on, man. Leave me alone.
I don't remember what we were doing, but one day I feel like we were sleeping and the TV turned on. It was like
Ricky Martin. I told the story to Sandra 2 days ago. There's nothing more scary than waking up with Ricky Martin blasting from your living room and no one turned it on.
No, I remember that. Freaked out. We totally. But also,
I remember,
and we got the TV looked at too.
Yeah,
we got the TV looked at, and there was nothing wrong with it. Nothing.
We took it to Dad's friend, who's an engineer.
Yes.
Yeah.
In like a different town, like 2 hours away, because it was like, because it was easy to get it there, and even I think used the TV where Mom and Dad's house.
They left it at the house,
never turned off.
No issues whatsoever.
So
but
weird.
Then Julio came to visit me one day. I don't remember. Julio might remember better than me. Julio one day came to visit me and said, "You got somebody standing right behind you," because he can sense these things. I said, "Don't tell me that. I swear to God, I'm gonna freak out right now." And he's like, "Yeah, she's been. I think it was she. She's trying to get you. She's been trying to get your attention." I said, "Tell her to stop messing with the TV."
That's not getting my attention in a good way.
And it just stopped one day.
Crazy. Yeah, I think it just stopped one day. Did you do like a cleansing or something? I don't remember.
I started reading Akashic Records a little bit after that, I think it was, and it went away. And I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if that has to do with it at all, because Akashic Records can sometimes help you with those things. So maybe me one day opening it, the masters are like, let's help her clear this out a little bit. Maybe. I don't know. I'm assuming.
We'll give her a hand over here. Yeah, that's a crazy story. I remember that. I remember freaking out and waking up. I'm like, what the heck is that? And then it's like, I remember just like walking into the living room. It was
Ricky
like Ricky
Martin
dancing on the screen. It's so freaking weird.
You could definitely wake up with something better than Ricky Martin, because they had put the volume up to the maximum. I remember when I got to the living room, I was seeing it go up. I was seeing the green bars go up.
So we thought it was a like remote control. We took out the batteries out of the remote control. We did everything. Like, it wasn't that. So
you realized we were seeing the volume go up. We were standing there going, "What?" Yeah. And I was like, unplug it. Oh my God. It was so loud. It was like 3 a.m. We were passed out.
Oh man.
For some reason I remember that, but I didn't remember you being there.
I remember that. Oh, I remember that.
Thank goodness.
I block stuff out. I'm like, yeah, Ricky Martin woke us up, whatever. Like, I wasn't freaked out by it. You were more freaked out with all that because it was happening more to you. It wasn't
to
really
me
happening
when I was
to me.
alone sitting in front of the TV. It was doing it to me. Yeah. And to the point where I was like, fine. So sometimes I'll be studying and it would turn on the TV and blast the volume. It's like, fine, I'll watch TV then.
I need a break anyway.
And then I'll get into a show and it would turn it off. I'm like, fine, I won't watch TV then. Whatever. Okay. But yeah, because it just got to a point where I didn't know what to do with it anymore. Like, it was just...
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway, yeah. It's cool we share that story. 'Cause I don't think we ever talked about that before. I think we glossed over it once, but we never went into detail about it.
No,
so that's kind of funny. Yeah.
No, I talked about the lamp. I talked about the lamp at Stephanie's house. I talked about that.
Yeah, that you told about that. Yeah, I remember that. I wasn't there though.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna close off now. Finally. And yeah, just a few things, I guess. Just remember we have our Patreon. If you guys want to join us there, we have a really nice, beautiful community there.
I love everyone in the Telegram group.
Me too.
It's so nice that
we're super close. We chat on Telegram every day and just kind of connect and support each other. It's really nice. So if you guys are looking for a community, feel free to check out our Patreon link. We'll have that on the show notes and you can just click through and check that out or message us if you have any questions about Patreon. I know some of you have reached out and were like, what's Patreon? So it's like a membership site. So you're able to pay a specific fee per month and then you have access to all of our content on that platform. And also we're kind of all connected through Telegram and we do some live calls like every quarter. And we actually just did a live call the other day, which was really, really, really good. We did some channeling on there and just chatted with everybody and everybody asked questions. It was awesome. So yeah, that. And yeah, we will be taking a break in December. So we'll be announcing those dates probably very soon. So let me announce them now so we get that out of the way. And I'll be posting obviously on social media. So we're going to take a break there won't be an episode on Monday, the 20th of December. On Monday, the 27th, which is, and I think also the 3rd. Yeah, Monday, the 3rd of January. So it's 3 days. 3 specific weeks that we're going to take off for the podcast. We need a little bit of a break, a reset, and then we'll start season 4 with that. So our seasons are annual, so that we have an episode every Monday. We don't miss one. So this is just a little break we're taking. We will still be posting on our Patreon and putting our content on there. And yeah, we're working on a lot of kind of course stuff. And we'll be announcing a little bit more information on our level 1 and level 2 courses in a future episode, more probably in January. And we'll give you guys kind of a rundown of what's going on with that and the decisions we make. We're having our annual meeting very soon. So we'll be chatting about our goals and stuff and what we want to help with and what we're going to do. So that should be fun. I'm excited about that. So yeah, if you guys have any ideas or any subjects or any topics you want us to go into during any podcast episode, feel free to message us on Instagram or Facebook or email us or just contact us through the contact form on our website. We'll have all those links below and just tell us what you think, what you'd like us to talk about. We'd love to hear your feedback. So yeah, we're going to sign off now. We love you guys. Thanks for tuning in again and have a great week.
Bye guys. Thank you.